Okay, microphone. We have a microphone. Uh-oh, what's this? High CPUs detected. All right, hey, we're in. We're live. It's Saturday night. Welcome into Above Ground World News. We're going to take a look at all the weather events. We're going to decipher the mainstream media lies and get the truth out there. Now, I'm telling you, there may be no hurricanes this year. And if there will be, it's going to be way like towards the end of November, December. There's too many factors going on. The mainstream just keeps pushing the narrative. And we'll get into that here in a minute. But the reason why we're not going to have no hurricanes is we have this massive wind field up above the stratosphere that is just blowing everything straight across, including the Sahara dust. And it's been going on for months. Let me just show you what last year looked like, just so you can see the scope of what I'm talking about. These were the winds last year. In fact, where the winds are the strongest, there was no winds last year. Let me get it back on now. What causes wind? Well, a heating event causes wind. Heat causes the wind. And we had a crazy anomaly over here, which we'll get into a little bit later. But there's another factor. Let me pause this so we can keep the bandwidth at bay. We have this. We are getting inundated day after day with these particulates coming off the Sahara dust. No, it's also a carcinogen. We're talking PM10s all the way down to PM1s. Completely bad for your health. In fact, I have not been the same since this dust started its flow over here. This is a mega dust storm that no mainstream media is ever talking about. They don't hardly ever talk about it. They'll mention it a little bit, and it's only because we put the pressure on them to mention it. Just like the fires. We were talking about the fires yesterday. In fact, I'll show you that right now. We were talking about the fires down here in Brazil. You know, the mainstream didn't pick it up till almost 30 days late. But what's funny is, you know, these are the fires they're mentioning. But when you zoom out, look over here. Look at Africa. Africa is burning 2 to 3 more times worse than Brazil. And both places are also doing what they call controlled burns. They're burning to get ready to farm. They're also making way for big oil and all that stuff. But we'll get into that part here in just a little bit deeper. What I want to talk about right off the bat here is, let me check this out. I got this Restream chat app going here in the background. I hope it don't slow us down. But this way I can monitor all the chat going on Facebook, Twitch, DLive, YouTube, all in one little app, and I can see all the comments, so that might help me out a little bit. But check out these mainstream media articles. Look at these spaghetti noodle models. These are all to freak people out. That's all they're for. There's no way a hurricane is going to form here. We've been saying it all year. Even the Hurricane Barry they tried to call a hurricane, it was not a hurricane. We showed it. We proved it. You know, what's it got to be, like 75 mile an hour for like 3 minutes or some crap to make it a hurricane? But they give you all these spaghetti models to give you doubts in your mind. And, you know, you got all these different little, let me close that out as we go. We got all these different little things showing the tracks, you know, tropical storm Dorian forms in open waters into the Atlantic. I'm going to show you how it's not going to form. There's only one way this thing would form, and it's going to be if all the pressure system change, if the dust quits flowing. I mean, look at this. They got to put the big red on here like it's apocalyptic storm coming in. And if you listen to our forecasts and the way we cover the weather, we're completely right. These guys say they're the best, but they're actually the worst. And what they do is they bring this like, hey, remember 27 years ago, Hurricane Andrew that wiped everything out? don't forget about that. We got this storm coming in. You need to tune into the Weather Channel. You need to tune into Storm Tracker. You got to watch the Weather Underground. But if you go to the Weather Channel, you don't even get weather. You get Ice Road Truckers, Ice Road Planes, all kinds of stupid movies. Actually, I like a couple of the shows. But it is, it's just all fear pornography. And it's all to bring in what we're going to talk about here in a little bit. Now, just like we reported last night, how the mainstream was really late to the party on the fires, but then the reporting on the wrong fires, you know, they're never reported on the fires in Russia or how bad it was in Alaska. They didn't even report the fires over the aerosols that were deployed over Redding, California. Just a few days ago, we said, hey, they're spraying right now, next day fires. I mean, we called it. Did they report on it? Barely. Like, barely. You got to go digging for it. But now, since last night, we talked about how they're reporting the wrong fire. Now we're getting more and more articles saying that the mainstream media is on the wrong fire. Wildfires scorch Africa, but the world's media stays focused on Brazil's blaze. Why is that? It's because it's the fear porn. They're all mouthing off about, oh, it's 20%. It's the earth lungs. It's this, it's that. And you got this little kid that they're, shuffling around like she's a expert on climate change. You know, at first she was in a big old ship that was blasting out bunker fuel. Now they're saying she's in she chose to sail in a UN climate conference in New York in a zero emission yacht. My ass. She wasn't in no yacht earlier. And then they try to give you the stats on the emissions from the different transportation modes. Of course, domestic flight they have on here, 121 times the amount. But what they're pushing on this is the one world train, the FEMA trains. If you've been with me a while, you've seen the train information I showed, how they're digging the underground tunnel under the Bering Strait, and it goes 5 miles up into Alaska, 5 miles up into Russia. That's going to connect us to Russia and China and everywhere. It's a one world giant train system. So they're going to push the emissions on the train is for the best emissions. But what they're not showing you on here is the worst of all. They're not showing the bunker fuel. They're not showing the U.S. military. The U.S. military is the highest polluters on the planet. Oh, wow, they got a trail here. And we showed last night exactly how. See, look, they're trying to show this as the planes are the worst, the trains are the best. All BS. Cars aren't putting off what they say. What is the American military, the bunker fuel operations. And last night we showed exactly how they created a fake storm using synthetic clouds right over Northern California and then right on down into Arizona. And in fact, I might even have that little clip. Let me see if I got this queued up. Let's check this out. This was from last night's broadcast. Now watch, when this stuff hits the mountains, it turns into a system, a rain system. So there you go. There's a man-made storm, 100% documented right here. All man-made. All over Nevada. I really want to know what this is. Is that a contrail? Is that a plane flying the opposite direction? But then you get this big burst of, ocean layer, whatever, fog, whatever that is. And there's a weird dry line in there, something. That's some weird stuff going on. Man, we're seeing some weird stuff right here. Let me put this on the microphysics. So hang on here. I want to fast forward this just a little bit. We can pick something else up out of this. It's probably not going to let
Some
me.
weird
This
stuff
thing is
going on.
freaking out.
Going on.
I'm going to
Dude,
fast forward. But what you
weird
see
one right
is,
there.
let me mute it here. There's a bunker fuel operation that was down in the Bajas, and what you're going to notice is the tropical storm system that's over in the Pacific is headed right for where the bunker fuel operations were deployed. If you don't know what bunker fuel is, it's the weather modification ships out here. It's not fishing vessels, it's not cargo ships. It's for 100% controlling the weather. Anyway, let me get this back on the right scene. If you didn't watch last night's broadcast, you can go back either over to D Live or you can watch it here on YouTube. But let me try to get this back over to the right scene here. Now this is a old article, man. This is back in 2014. Scientists think they can control the weather with lasers. This is coming out of CBS News. Whether it may be in a northeast during the past winter or drought-stricken California, researchers may have found a way to aim a high-energy laser beam into clouds to make it rain or trigger lightning. What have we seen over every storm this year? We've seen 35 to 45% more precipitation per event. Now we've seen double that in the lightning. You know, and this is only one aspect at it. Tonight we're not talking about the ionospheric heaters. We're not talking about the cloud seeding right now. We're not talking about all the cloud ionizers, the mobile cloud ionizers, the scatter radars, any of that type stuff. But we caught that big anomaly out there in the Pacific, down in the tropics. But this just goes to show, I mean, they have these, and there's an article that come out on Forbes earlier today, or actually this is an old article, May 21st. But they were talking about the global warming alarmists. The earth is cooling. In fact, it's been in like a 20-year cool down. It's been slowly cooling down. But guess what? They removed the post failing to meet the editorial standards. They hid it because it was facts. Now we showed that they sprayed the aerosols over here in California, and just like clockwork, the fire started up. We had it all documented. Evacuation, road closures. Now they got a lot of these contained now, but one thing you're finding out when these around every single city, they're putting in these traffic calming devices. They're getting rid of, exits and entrances into the highway. And believe it or not, this is all part of the Agenda 2030. They're slowing down. If something major happened in a city and you needed to get out, now you have all these traffic calming devices. You have all these things to slow your evacuation points down. This is on purpose. Here comes the dogs. I may have to mute out. Hang on, let me mute out just a second. All right, they're going to bark for a minute here. Let me get a drink. So, just like every night, we try to show you a different weather modification site. We've talked a lot about the Texas weather modification that has went on through 2018. We went to the we didn't go, but we have the video up on our page, or you can go right to the U.S. Department of Agriculture's page or the Texas Licensing Bureau, and they talk about all the clouds that they seeded. They talked about they seeded clouds when they were already thunderstorm warned, and they continued to seed them. They talked about the electric rain making. They talked about, we went over the North American weather modification, I think last night. But here's a page, it's called weathermodification.com, Weather Modification Incorporated. Right here you can find out about everything. You can find out, here we'll just click the cloud seeding link. I haven't even went through all this. There's like so much information here. Increasing precipitation, mitigating hail damage, dispersing fog, aerial cloud seeding, ground-based cloud seeding. It's all right here. This is everything you want to find out about the cloud seeding. And this is their site. This is, it's going on around the world, worldwide. And people keep denying it, but man, bullshit. We keep proving it. This link is in the description. Check it out. You can spend hours on here reading about all their stuff. Now, here's a really old article coming out of the New York Times, back when they actually had journalism. And this was a CIA data showed a 14-year project on controlling human behavior. This is a digitized version of the article. And I got the link in the description if you want to read this. They've been doing this forever. They never stop. Now they just use different technology. Now, just like the sound weapons that they're using over in Pennsylvania to control the kids, to keep them away from the parks. It's all going on. Hey, thanks out there, super chat. Who was that? Patrick. Much love out there, brother. So yeah, man, read through this. This is from 1977. They're way more advanced now. Now they got the AI programs. Now, they got the MK Ultra super models, and then, the voices of God with the millimeter waves and all that stuff, man. It's just going to get worse. Here's another thing, when I was talking about these trying to get out of the major cities, this happened in the Paradise fires. Data pinpoints 14 California towns where an emergency escape could be a problem. This is not just in California. This is every major city. They're changing the way you get off and on the highways. And, they try to put in these traffic calming devices. And that's what it's for, to slow you down, to not let you get out of there. You don't have the same access to the highways or the escape routes off the highways. This is planned. This is still part of the NWO. And here we go. The United Nations wants a one world government in less than 12 years. What's 12 years from now? That's Agenda 2030. They're already in full Agenda 21. We're almost there. In the 1960s, informed but naive. I'm not going to read all that. Everybody, most of the people that listen to this channel know about Agenda 2030. I've done a bunch of video, like 4-part series on it. You just got to look through my playlist. Just been going on, but this is what's going on. They're in, like I always say, they're going to use the weather, just like the other things they use, but the weather is going to be the one thing that people can see. They can see the fires, they can see the weather, they can see the hurricanes, and they just got to come up with the worst and the most devastating scenario that's going to force the sheeple to believe in the climate change. They're going to believe in the global warming. And like I say all the time, if the sea levels are rising, why are they still selling beachfront properties? Why are they selling just as good as ever? If there was real sea level rise, corporations would not be building on the banks of the oceans. They'd be putting up a giant wall to stop the tsunami. But that's not what's happening. So, here's another article about more fires now burning in Angola, Congo than the Amazon maps. And, we tried to show this the other day. So here's the Angola. There's 7,000 total fires. These are the top 10 country fires. The Congo has 3,000 fires, and you get all the way down here to Brazil, they have 2,000 fires. Zambia, 1,000 fires. Australia, 789 fires. 679 fires in Russia. Tasmania, 418 miles. We know a weather modification company this year, back in February, that put the fires out using ground-based radar systems, electromagnetics. We play the clips all the time. It can be done. You think the Paradise Fire, they could have put it out? Sure they could. But that was a weapon. They did that on purpose. They burnt that area out just like they are doing right now. They're burning these areas out for multi-purpose reasons. Then you got all this nonsense with the asteroid, going to hit next month. They do this stuff all the time. Then they come out saying, oh, no, it's not going to hit. They have no idea. They really don't. It's just more fear porn. Now, down here in the Antarctica, scientists blown out of the water by bizarre creature, and they can't explain it. Antarctica scientists were left stumped when they discovered a unique creature at the bottom of the ocean. A documentary showed this, just come out today. Let me see if I can kind of rewind this. I don't want to get a blasted for this. But they found several weird species that has to live in super cold water. The icy continent is of great interest to scientists as it is totally unspoiled landscape. Hey, give humans a little time. And we'll never know what's going on down there. We've seen the crazy Google Earth pictures down there. We know there's some bases under there. We know a lot of things, but who's going to let us go out there and see it? Why was what's his flop? Why'd he go down there during President Obama's inauguration? Maybe to see the fallen ones, to see the underground caverns down here, whatever they have going down here. It thinks out there bamboo. Anyway, thousands of scientists reside there, drilling below the ice to get a better idea of the icy continent's past. However, Expedition Antarctica took things a step further in their new documentary, The Secrets of Antarctica. But man, I got some weird looking fish here. Let me just try to bring up a few of these. I mean, them are weird. And the thing is, these fish, they can't live in waters above -5 or 5 Celsius. But yeah, man, there's some freaky fish right here. Look at that thing, man. Just weird, slimy looking things. Looks like a miniature whale. Who knows? I mean, these guys are scientists. Sometimes are, you don't know about them. Like, how do they know these things don't have like a poison on their skin and turns into some? Who knows? I don't know. Just speculating on that. So yeah, pretty crazy stuff with this. Look at that thing. That thing could take a hunk out of a leg. But nobody's going to be swimming in the Antarctica. Oh, so we got some territorial claims here. Norwegian claim, the Australian claim, the French, the Australian, New Zealand. Oh, where's Russia and the United States? Here's the British claim. Huh, that's interesting. Wow, that's pretty crazy. Anyway, all these links are in the description. Oh yeah, I'm not going to go in this asteroid BS. They're talking about the meteor or asteroid QV89 has a 1 in 7,000 chance of hitting Earth. You had what's his flop did a tweet about it and all that. Yeah, they're saying it won't hit Earth on September 9th, and here's why. They got to give you the answer why. Believe me, if something like this was coming and was going to hit the Earth, they're not going to tell us. They would keep us in the dark, even at the last 2nd. 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 2 All right, so yeah, so here we go. We're looking at the fire, the worldview map. We're looking at the fires right now for August 24th. And you look at the smoke out here. Now let's go over here to the Congo. Look at that. Same signatures, same everything, same everything. Madagascar, they're saying most sim fires are due to burning off for the land. And what did they get all the fires out down here in California? We got a few going on in Oregon. We got more aerosols being deployed over the same areas. When we get into the weather maps here in a minute, remember yesterday, let me go back one day. We had all these bunker fuel operations right here off the Bajas. You know, where are they at today? Today they're kind of down here, really close to the front side of this supposed hurricane that's going to get blown away by the Sahara dust. I mean, there's just a few ships up here, but it's back to being super light again. And whatever they deployed, you know, we showed yesterday how the actual aircraft, you know, we can call them whatever we want, but they laid out the fake synthetic clouds, come down here, hit the tops of the mountains, and turn into a weather system. We got the same thing going on tonight. But what I was going to get to here in Missouri, the spray that they've been deploying the last couple of days is the migraine inducing, no strength. Everybody is sleeping. Nobody can do nothing. They have us all completely docile. And you'll probably notice this as this goes across towards the east. Everybody's going to be without no energy, super tired, and it's all from the aerosols. It's not, you know, pollen or the pressures. It's what's coming out of the sky. 100%. And, you know, they're saying this storm Dorian down here, the only way this thing is going to form, it can't form. In fact, I'm going to tell you right now, there's no way this is going to form into a hurricane. No way. We showed you the dust, and we can show you some other issues with it. So we got the super high winds blowing everything straight across. It's blew away every little hurricane, even over here in the Pacific. It blew them away, blew them straight. You know, none of them that were forecasted to go up into the Bajas, they couldn't make it there. They got destroyed. But the other situation with this is the pressures, the sea pressures. Look at the high pressure out here. No hurricane's going to form unless there's a low pressure. Like here's the low pressure of the system that's going on right now. But this is going to dissipate really fast because it's trapped in these high winds up above the stratosphere. So you got the huge California high, Pacific high, and then the Bermuda high, or it's just all high pressure. You know, we're supposed to be in the hottest month of the year, but it's actually cool. The only place that's really hot is over here on the West Coast where they're blocking the moisture. In fact, we'll go ahead and put this on the temperatures, and we'll go on down to the surface. Look at all these mild temperatures. Where's the hot temperatures? Right here, southern Texas. But it's just a little strip. You know, this is all humid. Let's check the humidity. Wow, where's my humidity? Oh, there it is, right there. So the browns is the dry. So this is all the super dry areas. Here's all the humid, but it's cool right now, man. It's like, it's not even the temperatures of August for anywhere from the, you know, from the straight line down to the east. It's cold. It's colder, well below average. And what else was I going to show you here? Let's go ahead and check that. Here's the precipitation amounts. Let's check the energy. So there's plenty of energy for a hurricane to form, but there's missing lows. There's too much particulate matter in the air. Not to mention that the water, the atmospheric river, the rivers of the sky are being blown all over towards China and stuff. They're all backing up over there. So here's our fires. You see Australia's just as bad. We got all these particulates in the sky. Still really high over here on the west coast. And really high on the east coast. Let's check the carbon dioxide. It's actually almost looking better. So these it's starting to darken up, which is a good thing. Let's go ahead and check the sulfur dioxide. Remember I showed you all the bunker fuel ships over here. Look, there's no shipping lanes right here. There's a few shipping lanes going down. There's shipping lanes going from Hawaii over to the west coast. You got shipping lanes going from the west coast up over here to Alaska. None of the bunker fuel operations we showed you is any part of the cargo lanes or the fishing stuff for that matter. Let's check out the dust from a different map. Look, we got another monster wave. So that hurricane, or supposed hurricane, is right here. So it's mixing in with all these particulates. I can fast forward just a couple days. Look, it's pretty much going to be blown apart. And then we got the next big wave of dust. The next big wave of toxic shit coming across from the Saharas. We don't even know what's in this dust. There could be some ancient virus. We don't know. They'd never tell us. So there's that. Let's go ahead and jump into some satellite radar data. That's just amazing, man. So they reported on these fires, but not reporting on these. Way worse. Can't remember what I was wanting to show you. We looked at that. Take out the fire layers. Oh, this little system in the Gulf of Mexico. They're spraying tons of aerosols in this thing. So they're cloud seeding the storm from the southern side. Let's see if I can click the layers, get a little better. Maybe not. Oh, and the other thing. If this was a hurricane, they'd be cloud seeding out of heaven about 500 miles. They'd be cloud seeding right over here. I mean, there might be one little spray there. But when I try to check the data, they got it blacked out. So in the layers, we can see there is no cloud seeding operation down here, but you can see all the dust mixing in with it. The mainstream's going to try to push these things. They're only trying to get you to watch their channel. These will not be hurricanes. In fact, let's go just for a second, see the tropical cyclone page. So these are all the systems that they have named. So this one here should be the Dorian. Yeah, that's Dorian. We got Invest 90L, which is just going to hook right on out to the Atlantic. This one here is not going to turn into crap. And this one, Tropical Storm Evo, is not going to do nothing. Let's check the Mimic map real quick so I can show you where all the water vapor is. Now we're going to be looking at the rivers of the sky. This is what they want to completely control and have been controlling. Hey, thanks out there, Cynthia. All right, we're trying to get this to load. There we go. Now you can go back into the archive and see what this atmospheric river used to look like. And I can tell you, after 5-6 years of documenting these daily, this atmospheric river is completely screwed. And usually it used to be, see how it's real thick over here above Australia and all these places over here. Well, this used to be pretty even, and there used to be a pretty good amount here, but everything is traveling from the Saharas all the way over. But then when you get over here, they're traveling the opposite way. Why is that? And the other thing, this atmospheric river up here used to be really well pronounced. Everything should be traveling in circles like waves. You know, kind of like these are trying to spin around. They should be little spinning little limbs, like a wave of water, because that's what these are. And after the Paradise Fires, well before the Paradise Fires, what they've done, they can steer this atmospheric river. It can be done with scatter radars, NEXRADs, just a ground-based radar. But what they do is they pump in the heavy metals, the nanobots, and then they have like super control. Now, for the last 2 months, they've been steering this atmospheric river up into the Bering Sea. And now look at it. They're just kind of blocking it, kind of holding it off, and it's just having to recycle back through. You got this high winds that's pushing this all the way from the Saharas, and it's backing up. All the moisture up in the sky is backing up right here. You can see the little tropical storm is trying to head up towards the Bahamas. It's going to hit this, all this pressure is going to push it back down. It's just going to go right back down. Any kind of hurricane that would possibly form over here is going to get sucked right back out to the Atlantic. You know, they're still pulling this atmospheric river up through the middle of the United States, all the way up into Canada. Now, if this continues in wintertime, we're going to be looking at, you know, hundreds of inches of snow, just like the rain bombs. It's going to be the complete opposite. So we need to watch this over the next couple of days to see what their next plan is. Without the bunker fuel, you know, we only have bunker fuel down here by the tropical storm. That's it. We're not seeing them up here. They're like refueling or whatever they're doing, but they're not up here. And the atmospheric river's not being pulled up into the Bering Sea right now. Where it should be pulled to, right up here, just right before British Columbia. There's a place right here, not in Alaska, but just like right in where my mouse is. That place used to get the most amount of rain in North America, because that's where the atmospheric river would go to, but not no more. They've got it destroyed. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the data. Yesterday we showed you guys the cloud seeding operations that were down here in Nevada. Look, they're still spraying. They got another set, super heavy set over Northern California, all over Nevada, all over Utah. But the big spray job today, right here in Idaho. Look at all them liners. Also in Wyoming. Now where am I at here? Montana, Wyoming, Colorado. But it almost looks like they're trying to conjure up a hurricane over land. I mean, this weather system right here is just freaky. 90-degree turns in the cloud. Heavy aerosols turning into moisture. You know, even for the trolls and the deniers of the aerosols being deployed, this right here shows you that the aircraft are creating clouds, whether they want to say it's inadvertent geoengineering or not, but it's creating clouds, which is turning into systems. Without these planes, there would be none of these clouds. The plants would be getting the solar radiation that they should be getting, and the trees would be a little more healthy, but everything is dying. You know, they're bouncing all the sun out, so nothing's synthesizing. So let's take this back. Let me turn that enhancement off. Now I got this sped up a little bit, but maybe I need to slow it down. But what I want you to see, now we just seen where all the aerosols are being deployed all over here. And then you had the bunker fuel down here in the Gulf of Mexico, and this is what's feeding the moisture up, or the bunker fuel is actually being added in all the way to the southern tip of this, and then you have the atmospheric river coming up right here. But look, when all these chemtrails come crashing in, look at the system start to spin. I'm going to speed it back up a little bit. It's almost like they're trying to create, you know, look, these clouds are going the wrong way. You got these coming in the way they should be. Then all the chemtrails turn into moisture, but they're creating an artificial low pressure right here. This is starting to spin. This is like a land hurricane right here, a big giant megas. I can't even talk tonight. So anyway, it looks like they're trying to form some kind of a land-based cyclone with all the aerosols. Let me go ahead and put this on the microphysics just to see what pops out of this. You know, when we're looking at that, that's like the temperature of the clouds. That's not the moisture. You know, when the weatherman brings up the IR, most people think that's the rain. It's not. It's like the cloud temperatures and energy and stuff like that. But if it looks bad, that's the map they're going to use. They want to freak people out. So I just want to kind of document this. Look at that straight line clouds, aerosols. All the dark blue is the aerosols. You know, weird stuff over here in California. Everything is blowing off the coast. They're not going to let any moisture get into California. They're setting it up for the new fire system. Let me go ahead and check this out over on the west coast. See if we, you know, we couldn't spot the bunker fuel into the deal. I don't see nobody blocked Hindu. I don't know if you're blocked. Yeah, Wisconsin. I forgot to look up there. Let me look. Here, let's put this on. We'll put this one on the full view of the United States, so we can see the full aerosols being deployed. If I can get it to load, what's going on here? We want the east. We'll see if that'll load for us. It may not. It's like it's stuck. Yeah, there we go. Okay, there we go. So look, here's the bunker fuel operations from yesterday. You can see the wider lines. That is weather modification ships. That's like the Pandora fog exercises. The carbon fiber clouds, the sulfur. So yeah, look at all the light lines, man. That's all the bunker fuel. So yesterday they were heavy. Here we go. We're starting to come in to today. It'll start lightening up. And then we should be able to see them. And there's just a few right here. Look at yesterday's. And now there's just a few. So they must have had to go refuel. And then here is the total United States. I don't know how well you can see this, but here's a mega spring operation in Northern California. Complete bombardment over Nevada. It looks like they're doing a military test. There's a little pop-off thing, like they might have dropped some kind of a something down here. See how that little thing just forms, then it turns into, something synthetic. It's not going with the wind pattern, so could be a military test there. Of course, all the aerosols out ahead of this from Minnesota, Wisconsin. You got like cloud inversion going on in Wisconsin. Heavy spraying over Washington, Oregon, completely bombarded. Spraying in the Gulf of Mexico. Spraying over the East Coast. The Virginias getting hammered. Kentucky's getting hammered. Hammered with aerosols and microwaves all over the place. Anyway, guys, we're going to call this a show. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Thanks everybody that shares this out. Thanks everybody that sends this stuff over to the P.O. box and shares this information out. And we're looking hopefully one of these days soon to try and get a website going just in case they take us down. There was another real big channel that got took down today for no reason. I've seen the high impact vlogs and posted out, retweeted. I can't remember who it was. But anyway, guys, much love out there. Be safe. Tomorrow's the 16-day forecast. Make sure you get a lot of people in here. That way they're going to know what to really prepare for. Hey, nice to see people out there. Anyway, guys, here we go. Much love. We're going to play a song called Rise. Then we're going to play the fight song. Then we'll play the victory song. I'll come join you over on D Live, give away the treasure chest. I'll come jump into the chat, different chats, and all that stuff. Anyway, guys, much love. Here we go. Turn it up. We got to rise. The New World Order. We only had 12 years left.
So you just mentioned contrails. So how do the contrails affect or have an impact on the climate?
Right. Well, contrails have a huge impact on climate. And so, in fact, some of the recent modeling work that has come out of DLR suggests that contrails today, just the ones that we're able to see up in the sky, maybe today, this week, this month, have a larger impact on Earth's climate than all of the carbon dioxide emitted by aircraft since the first powered airplane flight. So that's a huge effect. And so even as CO2 accumulates, greenhouse gases accumulate in the atmosphere, the impact of these contrails trapping heat and reflecting sunlight back into space is having a huge effect on the Earth's energy balance. And so
that's right, ladies and gentlemen, they're dumping more particles this week than all of the aviation since the very first plane. That's why our skies are so toxic. That's why we're all have a chest infection. That's why we're all sick.
We've had a lot of cases where we were seeding storms that had no business being seeded. We were just kind of throwing darts, and we were seeing responses in some of those. So we are learning that maybe there's more opportunity with some of these. Maybe we don't even need to have a rain cloud. We could go work cumulocongested clouds that aren't really precipitating yet. And if it has inflow, maybe we could get something to work. Year one, we had the air tractor that the USDA provided, so dosaging was a lot better. We were getting about 40 to 45 gallons per cloud. That aircraft wasn't available in year two, so we took